Number 5. VW Beach Buggy. James May's VW Beach Buggy is perhaps the most un-James May car he's ever owned. It wasn't sophisticated, and it wasn't particularly well engineered, and it certainly wasn't built with any sort of precision. And yet, in a world filled with overcomplicated supercars and technology-laden luxury barges, May saw something pure in the buggy, a car that, in his words, was a testament that good will triumph over evil. The Beach Buggy was as simple as a car could get. Based on an old Volkswagen Beetle chassis, it had a rear-mounted air-cooled engine, a fiberglass body, and a complete disregard for things like roof panels or doors. It was painted in a bright, cheerful color. Because, of course, a beach buggy has to look fun, and fun is exactly what it was built for. May loved it for its sheer optimism. Unlike the high-maintenance exotics in his collection, this was a car that didn't care about prestige, lap times, or engineering perfection. It just wanted to bounce along the sand and make people smile. It was, in many ways, the anti-supercar. No status, no exclusivity, just pure unfiltered joy on four wheels. Did it break down often? Almost certainly. Was it fast? Absolutely not. Could it make even the grumpiest person grin? Without a doubt. The buggy's carefree attitude won May over. He kept it not for status, but because sometimes a car should just exist to spread joy, and that's exactly what this one did. Even Jeremy Clarkson, the king of horsepower, couldn't hate it. Number 4. 1984 Porsche 911. James May's 1984 Porsche 911 is proof that sometimes impulse purchases lead to the best stories. Unlike most collectors who spend months researching, test driving, and agonizing over their next car, May did something far simpler. He went to record the sound of a flat six engine for a radio show and, without much thought, bought the car on the spot. Finished in classic Guards red, this 911 was an air-cooled icon, featuring the 3.2-liter Carrera engine that produced around 231 horsepower. Not the fastest car in his collection, but certainly one of the most beloved. The beauty of the 1984 911 wasn't in outright speed, but in the way it felt. Pure, mechanical, and a little bit scary. May quickly realized that his spur-of-the-moment purchase was a good one, as the car ended up making several on-screen appearances, both in Top Gear and elsewhere. It was the perfect blend of sensible, reliable German engineering, and absurd. He bought it without planning to. Unlike some of his other cars, the 911 stuck around for quite some time, proving that sometimes the best decisions are made without thinking too hard. After all, James May, a man known for meticulous detail, accidentally bought a Porsche, and it turned out to be one of his best decisions. Number 3. 2018 Alpine A110. James May's 2018 Alpine A110 is a textbook example of his love for brilliant engineering and his complete disregard for aesthetics. This lightweight French sports car, finished in a striking shade of blue, was a modern reincarnation of the legendary Alpine rally cars of the past. Powered by a 1.8-liter turbocharged engine producing 248 horsepower, it wasn't the most powerful car in his collection, but at just 1,100 kilograms, it didn't need to be. Agile, beautifully balanced, and ridiculously fun to drive, the A110 quickly won May over. But there was a problem. He absolutely hated how it looked. More specifically, he took issue with the rear end, describing it in typically James May fashion as something that looks like it was designed by a committee that never met in person. The front, he admitted, was decent, but the back, a visual disaster.
I mean, look at this from the back. It's ridiculous.
He challenges the common perception of the A110 as merely a sports car, asserting instead that it's a downsized supercar. He draws parallels between the A110 and high-performance vehicles, noting the engine is behind your back, the handling is very frisky, and the luggage capacity is very poor. The rearward visibility is extremely compromised. This is exactly the experience of driving a McLaren or Lamborghini. It's just been reduced by about 25% on the photocopier. Despite his criticisms, May couldn't help but appreciate the car's brilliant handling, perfect chassis, and clever weight distribution. He's often called it one of the best driving cars of the modern era. proving that he could overlook its, shall we say, controversial styling. While others might buy cars for beauty, May keeps them for how they make him feel. And the A110, despite its unfortunate rear, kept him smiling. Number 2. 1989 Rover Mini Cooper RSP. James May's 1989 Rover Mini Cooper RSP wasn't just any Mini. It was a one-off prototype, making it a true piece of automotive history. For a man who appreciates clever engineering and simple, well-thought-out cars, the Mini was an easy love affair. It was small, agile, and had the no-nonsense charm that made even May, a man with a deep love for practicality, smile every time he drove it. The RSP, or Rover Special Products Mini Cooper, was meant to be a revival of the classic performance Mini, featuring a 1.3-liter engine, upgraded suspension, and a few modern touches while still retaining its iconic boxy shape. His particular example, being a prototype, was even rarer, possibly the only one of its kind. May loved the Mini's playful handling and the fact that it was a perfect example of less is more. But as with many cars in his collection, there was a catch. Because it was a prototype, it wasn't exactly road legal in the conventional sense. Owning a car that couldn't be easily registered or driven made it more of a novelty than a practical classic. In the end, May had to part ways with his rare Mini, proving that even he, a man who appreciates oddball cars, had limits when it came to usability. And at number 1, the 2015 Ferrari 458 Speciale. James May's 2015 Ferrari 458 Speciale wasn't just any Ferrari. It was the last one ever made, and in true James May fashion, he bought it at possibly the most ironic moment, right after getting fired from Top Gear. Painted in an eye-searing shade of bright orange, a color usually reserved for traffic cones and life jackets, it was a bold choice for a man who normally prefers muted, sensible tones. But this wasn't just any Ferrari. The 458 Speciale was the swan song for Ferrari's naturally aspirated V8s, packing a 4.5-liter engine that screamed to 9,000 RPM and produced 597 horsepower. It was an absolute masterpiece of engineering, and May, despite his reputation for liking boring cars, knew he couldn't pass it up. Of course, buying a nearly 300,000-pound Ferrari after losing your job might not seem like the wisest financial decision, but as May put it, what else was I supposed to do? If anything, it was his way of celebrating unemployment in style. Despite its brilliance, the Speciale didn't stay in his garage forever. Perhaps it was too flashy, or maybe he realized that a bright orange Ferrari wasn't the best car for a man who preferred tweed jackets and quiet Sunday drives. Either way, it was a spectacularly James May purchase. Well, folks, there you have it.